guys, I thought I would do something different today, and I thought I would talk about something that makes me nervous because, I don't know, I'm trying to grow as a person and like put things on my channel that are actually going to mean something to people. So considering that I am bisexual, if you didn't know that, then yes, hello. I am bi. I thought it would be a good idea to do a Q&A about sexuality because I don't see many people doing them, and honestly I would have loved a video like this when I was younger, but to be honest I'm going to find it quite like nerve-wracking to talk about because even though I'm out, I'm still not like 1,000,000,000% okay with it. I am like within myself, but I know there's some people in my life who would prefer me not to be bi. So I don't really talk about it much, and especially not on YouTube. I never want anybody to feel like ashamed of me, and I'm not ashamed of myself in any way, shape or form, and I honestly don't think that liking the same sex or whatever you like should be worth being ashamed over. So I'm kicking myself up the arse. I'm doing a video about it because sod it. I'm gonna hopefully make a change. Sip that tea. Nelly! Nell's joining me for this video, if you can see him. Bless him. Okay, so I've asked for questions on Twitter. Yeah, I'm just gonna jump straight into them. And the first question is, do you think gay marriage in a church should be legal? Yes, 100%. I'm not personally a religious person, but if I'm correct, then in the Bible it's taught to love thy neighbour and like love everybody. So I don't see why it would be such a bad thing for two people who love each other to get married in a church. I honestly don't see the problem in that. Some people think it's wrong for gay people to show affection in public. What do you think about this? Kiss whoever you want, man. Go for it. As long as you're not like awkwardly all over each other, you know, to the point where it's like, all right, chill out. Even if it was a straight couple or whatever and I see people just all over each other, I'm just like, all right, get a room. But yeah, if it's just like a little kiss here and there, who honestly cares? Not me. How do you deal with the homophobic twats in your life? You cut them out of your life. If anybody is not okay with who you are, who you identify as, this might not be sexuality, it might be like gender identity or just anything on this whole spectrum. If people are gonna give you shit about it, cut them out because they're honestly not worth it. And if you can't cut them out, just try and ignore them until you get into a position where you can cut them out, if that makes sense. Like maybe you're at school and there's someone at school who's been an absolute arsehole about it, and if that's the case then definitely go to a teacher or a parent or just somebody that you trust and tell them and make sure that that situation can hopefully get like rectified. But yeah, if you're in a position where you can't just cut people out, then honestly all you can do is just try and deal with it for as long as possible. And when you're in a position where that person doesn't have to be in your life anymore, then bye Felicia. Do you have a current crush except for Selena? Ha 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 ha. If you mean a crush in real life, then yes, I do have one. Actually, I've got two. Bi people are so greedy. Actually, it's kind of funny because my crushes, one is a guy and one is a girl. This is like in real life. But I would never go there with both. This is something else that I wanted to talk about. Just because some people are bi, it doesn't mean that they want to sleep with everyone at the same time. Like, we are equally as loyal as everybody else is. Just because you like more than one gender doesn't mean that you want that at the same time. It's like, no, I can be with a girl and not want to get with a guy. Do you know what I mean? Polyamorous, monogamous. I wish I knew more words to do with this stuff because honestly, my vocabulary is just tiny. There are some people who believe that someone can be too young to come out. What do you think about this? I think if you know and like you are entirely sure that you know, then come out or don't come out. Just do whatever you want to do. At the end of the day, it's only you who knows what you're feeling inside. So other people can't be like, nah, you're only like 12, you don't know. You can know, and everybody deserves respect when it comes to this. And I feel like people don't necessarily get as much respect as they deserve until they're like 18, because then you're an adult and you can make adult decisions. But that doesn't matter, like, if you know, you know. Have you had a girlfriend before? Just wondering, since you have never mentioned this before. Love you and so proud. Thank you, Katie. Yes, I've been with girls before. I've been with guys before. I just don't show it on YouTube unless I'm gonna be with someone who I think it's really gonna last with. I don't see the point in bringing all of you guys into my life. That's just something that I don't want to do. I feel like there's some people who get in relationships and then it makes it a lot more difficult for them to get out of the relationship because they're worried like what everybody online is going to think. And that's messed up, to be honest, and I don't want that in my life. So I prefer to keep things private. Doesn't mean that I'm not with someone or dating someone or, you know, whatever. It just means that at this point in time, I don't want to show it. How did you know you were bi and didn't just want to experiment with girls, or it wasn't just a phase? A phase? A phase. I've always known that it's not a phase. It's just something that I've always known, but I would say that that like solidified in my head that it wasn't a phase the first time that I kissed a girl. Then I was like, okay, yes, definitely. This is what I want. This is not a phase. There's so much pressure about putting a label on something, and honestly, you don't have to have a label. I've struggled with this a lot because I've always wanted to like have a label. I'm kind of like funny like that. Like I want there to be a reason for everything. So for me, I've actually struggled with that in the past, but you don't need to label yourself, just go with the flow. If you think that you like the same gender and then like you get with a person of the same gender and you don't like it, then you know that maybe it is just a phase. But I'd say you just know, like when you know, you know. Was there a certain person in your life that made you realise you were bi? I've actually got a confession here. Up until I lost my virginity, I didn't know who/what I liked. I didn't pay much thought into it, but I did think that I liked girls way more than guys. There were never any guys that I liked. Then I lost my virginity and then I was like, okay, definitely don't like guys. So I went through like ages of thinking that I was a lesbian and that I didn't like guys at all. And that changed, I'd say about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, when I really out of nowhere kind of just fell for this guy. And then I was like, shit. And then I was confused all over again because everything that I'd ever thought was just like shoved out of the window because all of a sudden I really liked this guy and I was like, what is going on here? Drop me out. So I got so confused over that. And before I liked that guy, I actually made a video which I never published. I did upload it to my channel, but then I deleted it because I don't know, I just wasn't ready. So before I liked that guy, I made a video saying that I was lesbian, which is so weird to think now how that one person just changed everything. I've got scissors in my hand, by the way. I don't know why, I'm quite nervous. And they're the first thing that's like near me. Okay, I'm gonna pop them down. Yeah, so I made a video. I told my manager that I just liked girls, and then I had to do a really awkward thing where I had to go back on everything and be like, actually, lol. No, I don't. I like this guy too, which obviously means that I'm bi or whatever. I don't know, that just confused me for so long. So I would say that up until recently, I always thought I was gay. But since this dude, it's made me realise that I do actually like both genders. Yeah. Kind of strange, like it took me like a good 20 years to figure that out, but it's totally okay if it takes you longer. Have you ever had a crush on someone really close to you, man/woman, and if so, how do you deal with it? Yes. I've liked a couple of people who were really close to me. To be fair, I just tell them now. There was one point in my life where I would never have told someone that I liked them, and I feel like when you're growing up, you kind of like that. You always want like your friend to tell them that you like them, or I don't know. I was always too nervous to ever tell anyone, but nowadays I'm just like, yo, I think you're pretty great. And whatever comes of that, and whatever doesn't, and that's fine too. You can just carry on being friends. I'd say if you like someone close to you and the feeling isn't reciprocated, if that's a word, like this has happened to me before where they haven't liked me, which is absolutely fine, but I've just had to like cut them out for a little bit, and then once I'm over that, reel them back in and just have a really good friendship with them. That's like totally fine. Have you been with a girl and was it better than being with a boy? I'm guessing you mean sex-wise. Yes. I hope like my parents aren't watching this. Yes, I have. And it's very different. Like to me, it's so different both ways. With girls, it's like a lot more, this is just my experience, but with girls, it's a lot more like lovey, passionate, that is the word. But with guys, with me, it's always just been like, okay, you do your thing, you finish, I'll just sit and wait. I can't believe I'm talking about this on the internet. My channel's always been quite PG and now I'm just like, lol. Oh well, whatever, I'm a human. Has there ever been times where you wished you were either gay or straight? If so, why? Yes. I think there's a question that's coming later on about like what age I came out at, but I came out to a member of my family when I was 15, or maybe it was very early 16, I'm not sure, but I wished I was straight so much. I'll get into this later, but I just wished for years that I didn't have these feelings towards girls. And more recently, when I started liking this guy, I actually wished that I was just gay, because I was like, why is this happening? I just didn't understand. Like, I was totally okay with who I was, and then this person came along and messed all that up and then left me so confused. And yeah, at that point I wished I was gay. So I have wished I was both, but I'm fine with who I am now. Since you're bi, do you act different when you're speaking to / flirting with girls than you do flirting with guys? This is such a good question, honestly, such a good question, because I feel so awkward at flirting with girls. I can't do it over text or over anything. I can in person, like I'm totally fine in person. I don't know what it is about trying to flirt with a girl over text. I just can't do it. I just feel so awkward. But with a guy, I'm just like, yeah, this is fine, whatever. But in person, I find it easier to flirt with girls than I do with guys. Oh, maybe that's not true. Nah, I would say it's equal in person, but yeah, over text, I don't know why, I just find it so awkward. As a bisexual myself, I was wondering, do you experience attraction exactly 50-50 or more so one than another? Good question. I don't know if anybody is the same. I'm sure there are people who are the same as me, but sometimes I'm just like all about guys, and then sometimes I'm all about girls, and then sometimes I'm just like equal. Don't really care. I mean, overall I don't really care, like who I fall in love with, I honestly don't care, but like I definitely do have these phases where I favour one or the other. By favour I mean like 70-30, not like 100% don't like the other gender. No, it's like I just favour them for a period of time, and then I'm like, nah, actually I'm all about girls now. No, I'm all about guys now. If you're bi, let me know if you're the same. Did you feel pressured to label your sexuality? Yes, I spoke about this a little bit earlier, but I've always felt such a pressure to label it because I always felt like people didn't believe me. And that's a tough one. Like, I've had people say to me before, and I just think this is the worst thing that you could say. Oh, you're too pretty to be gay, or oh, you're too pretty to like girls. And I'm just like, honestly, what does your looks have to do with how you feel inside? It has absolutely nothing. I feel like people definitely stereotype lesbians and bisexuals as girls with like short hair, loads of tattoos, and it's just like, no, there are girly girls out there. Like, it honestly does not matter what you look like as to how you feel inside. So I've definitely wanted to label it, which is why I did make that video that I never uploaded that was coming out as just liking girls. But I'm so happy that I didn't do that now, because can you imagine me then having to make a video like, whoa, this guy's just come along and now I've really fallen for him. Like, how much shit would I have got for that? But like, you don't have to know, you don't have to label anything. You could think you're straight your whole life and then one person could come along and change it in a second. You could also go through your whole life being straight and never like a person of the same gender, or being gay and never like a person of the opposite gender, and that's fine too. If you know, then that's amazing, like, good for you. But there are people out there who don't know and are confused and stuff. So yeah. Were you out at school / to your peers, and what was your school experience like as a result of this? Yes, I actually had a girlfriend at school, and it definitely made me more outcast than I was before. And believe me, I was very outcast before. When you're at school, there are so many assholes, and I'm like hoping and praying that it's not like this anymore, because when I was at school, no one really spoke about sexuality. But I feel like now, with the likes of YouTube and people making it known that it's okay, hopefully people in schools are a lot more accepting. But I know for me, they definitely weren't. So if anything, it made my school experience even worse. But that was just right towards the end. I was in year 11 then, like ready to leave, so that was great. What was your first experience with a girl? That would be the girl who was my girlfriend. I say that term very loosely, by the way, because we were just two very confused people in school. I think we kissed once, and by kissed I mean we like pecked, because we were both really nervous. So my first experience was just like, I was shitting it. I was honestly terrified. I honestly don't know what I was terrified for, but I was terrified. Just the prospect of like being with a girl I was terrified about, but I also knew that it was what I wanted. That might be why I was so scared, because I knew that like as soon as it happened there was like no going back. But yeah, my first experience with a girl was pretty shit. Why did you decide to come out when you did? I came out online last year, but I came out in my personal life when I was late 15, early 16, and that was to a family member who didn't accept it, and I went straight back in the closet. And I don't want to talk about this too much because that honestly was a horrendous part of my life, and if they're watching this video I don't want to make them feel bad about it, but that made me feel literally horrendous. He basically said that I was an embarrassment to the family, and honestly I don't want to go into this story. Maybe I will one day, but that's a big part of the reason why it's taken me so long to actually accept it, because the first experience of coming out that I had was terrible. So even though I had come out to somebody and I knew that I liked girls, I went straight back in the closet, pretended that I didn't, pretended that I just liked guys. And this was up until like 2 years ago, when I finally got the guts to be like, you know what, fuck this. It's just so strange how something that happened so long ago can affect your life still. But yeah, I would say if you have a bad experience coming out, just try and realise that it's them and it's not you. Some people have grown up in a completely different generation, and it might take them a long time to deal with it, and they might never deal with it. You might lose people if you come out, but as long as you're doing something that is validating who you are, and like just know that that's their problem and it's not yours. Being gay, being bi, being pansexual, asexual, every other sexual is fine, honestly fine, and it's completely other people's problems if they have an issue with it. So like I said, just try and cut them people out if you can, or just give them time to come to terms with it. Coming out is such a difficult one because some people have the best experiences where their family's just like, oh, that's amazing. But some people like me have a shit first experience, and that like ruins years of their life because they feel ashamed to be who they are. But just know, honestly, that is their problem and it's not yours. And sooner or later, you're going to be completely happy with who you are, and it won't matter what anybody else thinks. So that is the end of this video. Let me know if you liked it by giving it a thumbs up, or writing me a comment below of what you thought. And if you guys would like me to do more videos like this, or on different topics, like more serious topics, then let me know, because honestly, I just want to help people. Like, it's alright doing makeup tutorials and stuff, and for some people that is completely amazing and they help people that way, like with how to do makeup. But I would just like to try and help people in a more deeper way if I can sometimes. So yeah, let me know what other topics you would like me to do Q&As on, or just talk about in general. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new, and press the little bell next to subscribe to get my notifications when I upload. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!